Hey, this is Seagrove, and I'm going over my Daytona Regional Report. I was convinced I was going to play Rainbow Road for the tournament, and I was playing against Darkrai, testing with my friend, and I was losing because of Pseudo Wudo. And he was 2-1ing me pretty much every time. Every few games I could knock out the Pseudo Wudo, but usually I could not. So I thought back about this Lapras deck. I actually streamed some on here with it. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Let me try Lapras. If Lapras beats Darkrai, then I'm sure it'll beat Turtles. And I know I have Toad Karen in there, so I can beat Night March. So I felt like I could beat Night March, Turtles, and Darkrai with it if I beat Darkrai with it. And then that would be three of the big four, with Trubbish being the fourth pick for the fourth of the big decks I expected to see. And I knew I would lose to Trubbish. So I figured if I could beat 3 out of 4, that's good enough. So I test it, and it destroys Darkrai. So I'm like, okay, cool, playing this. And last minute, like the night before, I changed my deck. I convinced my friend to change with me, and we both play it. It's the only time I've ever changed my deck the night before a regional. Like, I always, if I choose a deck ahead of time, I do not change it. Um, so I go with Lapras, and the reason was my goal was to top 128 because I'm not comfortable with expanded. I felt like 128 was a realistic goal for me, and maybe I could do better at the Charlotte Regional, which would be the next one I'm planning on going to, which is standard. So I figured, yes, Rainbow Road would have a better chance of getting me day 2, but it also has a better chance of just falling flat on its face. So I go with this, and it's like a more matchup based deck, I think, but we'll talk about that later. Let's go through the list. So for the list, first of all, obviously 2 Shaman and 1 Lele is just for consistency. And then Sudowoodo was mainly for Darkrai, but also, Mega Ray, Rainbow Road, if you hit any of those. Um, and then Lapras is the main attacker. Blizzard Bird for 160, but you can't attack next turn. 190 HP. We'll talk about the other attacks later. Keldeo lets you reset that attack, and Keldeo can also function as an attacker in the deck. Toad can slow down decks if you're not able to get 3 attachments. You can at least get 2 and start quaking punching them, slow them down while you set up some Lapras. Kyurem over Articuno because Kyurem can hit for 2 and set up future KOs. And Kyurem was awesome. I'm so glad I played it. So actually, every time I played this card, or maybe 5 out of 9 rounds when I played this card, my opponent was like, oh, that takes me back. And I guess it was TDK, which I don't really know what that is exactly. But yeah, so that was the Pokemon lineup. I did attack with Lele in a couple matches, but overall it was Lapras, Kyurem, Toad, and Keldeo were my main attackers. I attacked with Shaman 1 time. But 4 Aqua Patch, just to get you going quickly. 2 Battle Compressor. The first one is usually 1 or 2 energies and a Draw Supporter or a Guzma. Then my second one would normally be 1 energy, a Guzma or a Draw Supporter, and like a Karen or Sudowoodo, something I didn't want in the matchup. Computer Search, just for consistency over Dowsing Machine, because first turn consistency was one of the weaknesses of this deck, and I didn't have enough time to test it to go with Dowsing Machine, so I just went with Computer Search. 1 Field Blower, mainly for Fury Belt and Garbodor. 3 Elixir. When I was testing 4, I would always miss my 4th one, and when I was testing 3, I was hitting like 75% of them, so it felt really good. 1 Super Rod is probably the second worst card that I played. I'm not convinced there's a better option. Actually, yeah, I think if I did it again, I wouldn't play the Super Rod. I would play another Floatstone instead. The third worst card in the deck was actually Lele, and I wouldn't take that out. So I think there's only 2 cards I would take out, and one is Super Rod. 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Via Seeker just for consistency. 3 Rough Seas was perfect. Didn't want another one, but 3 was really great, especially against item lock decks. 1 Colress. Colress was baller. I wish I could play more, but first turn consistency again is the big issue for the deck. So playing Chorus doesn't really help that. 2 Guzma. The reason I play 2 instead of 1 is because resetting Lapras. 1 Hex. Hex was clutch in a few matchups. 1 Karen for Night March. Never played a Night March, so it was a bad card all day. But I'd still keep it because my friend who played the deck actually played 2 Night March, and it was good for him. So only 1 in, and that's the other card I would add. So I'll get there in a second. 3 Sycamore, 3 Choice Band. 3 Choice Band was perfect. Makes you hit 190 with Lapras, or can just help a lot of your different numbers, and we'll talk about that a little bit in matchups. 1 Fury Belt. This was the worst card in the deck. I think it may have won me 1 game, but if I replaced it with an N or a Float Stone, I would have won more games, and Super Rod could have been an N. So those are the 2 changes I would make. 2 Float Stone was fine if 1 wasn't prized, or I wasn't going to get item locked turn 1 or 2 or whatever. 12 Water Energy was perfect. Like I wanted to cut down to 11, but it wasn't enough. Maybe a slightly better player had been playing it even. They could get away with 11, but I couldn't. 12 was nice because I hit my elixirs. I actually hit my elixirs a lot, and there are a lot of times where I would chorus and hit the one energy I needed or whatever. So I felt really good about the list. I'm going to get into some games while I'm talking about my matchups, so it's probably going to be terrible. I'm not going to be focusing on my play too much, so expect a lot of misplays. But it's just something to watch while I'm talking you through the matchups. So my first matchup was versus Vettel. This player, she was actually a pretty solid player overall, but her list was not, and she knew that. She was like, I couldn't find dark patches, so I was like, oh wow, that's unfortunate for any Vettel Darkrai deck. But she made some really cool plays, had some techs I wasn't expecting. I'll put a good amount of pressure on me, but I was still able to 2-0 that matchup. And again, if she was able to find those dark patches, that could have been a different story. But round 2 versus Toad, Garbodor. In game 1, I just draw past. I'm like, cool. And we're finished with game 1. He knocks me out on his second turn, and that's it. I scoop. We're done with game 1 by the time most of the people around us are still taking their first turn. So the first player is still going on his first turn. Then game 2, he thought he KO'd me because I went ham on my first turn, discarded 5 items. And so he thought he could KO me with Garbodor like on my 5th turn, but I'd only discarded 1 more item since then because he's quaking and punching. So yeah. So I end up he ends up not knocking me out, and I'm able to use items. I go ham on my items again, and then I win the prize trade. And Collect was super good against Toad. Okay. So Collect was really good against Toad. And then game 3, I like see the game. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna knock out this Garbodor. Next turn I'll Guzma that Garbodor. Then he'll bring up Toad, and I can knock out this Toad with my Lapras, as long as he doesn't hit Field Blower, which I hadn't seen a Field Blower yet. So I think I didn't see one. So I felt like I knew what was gonna happen. I was gonna win. So I knock out his Garb, grab my 2 prizes. Halfway through his turn, I'm like, wait, I just grabbed 2 prizes. Oh man. So I think about all the scenarios. I'm like, I could not say anything, but then I just Guzma's Toad and win off of cheating. So obviously I can't do that. Then I'm like, well, I could like, oh, I gotta tell a judge. So I just like raise my hand. And I'm like, I call the judge, and the judge comes over, man, and yeah, judge comes over, and he's all like, it's cool, you just get a warning, prize penalty. And I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, not prize penalty, just a warning since you called it yourself. And my opponent did, because I just raised my hand, the judge comes over, I'm like, Judge, I cheated. And my opponent's like, what? So he didn't even know. So yeah, we got a warning there, but ended up, so just randomly put a prize back, shuffled my prizes up, and I lose. No, I won game 3. So cool, I'm 2-0. And but at the end of that game, I had 100 damage on my shaman, but I was able to find a top deck Keldeo and rush in, and then just wait, or stand in, or whatever it's called, and just wait. And so I have the shaman with 10 HP left like the whole game, and then I eventually get 2 energies on it, and like my second to last turn, Sky Return, because like with a Sky Return and a 160, I'm able to knock out Toad. So yeah, I was able to. That's the only time I attacked with Shaman all day. But anyways, yeah. So then let me grab a Keldeo here. Then I go to round 3. I'm versus Garbodor, Tool Drop, Mimikyu, Necrozma, and this opponent was awesome. Definitely like one of 2. He's hard to say, but he may have been my favorite opponent of the day. He was awesome, a young guy. He did really well, and yeah, Garbodor just bodies me. And I wasn't really playing around. I didn't know people were playing Mimikyu, so I just wasn't really expecting it. And so I just didn't play around it well enough. And yeah, just got punished and lost the game. So yeah, so I just lost that 2-0. Oh, but I got another warning this round because I drew 8, and I confessed again. But because I like confessed both times, the judges were pretty lenient with it overall. So I don't know. It was like bad, but it could have been worse, I guess. That's how I felt about it. Like I felt bad for making mistakes, but the judges were nice because I was like truthful, I guess. And yeah. So anyways, that was cool. And then yeah, super fun match. Got 2-0'd. I'm 2-1. Round 4, I play versus Trevenant. And my opponent said he hadn't played in 8 months, and he was just doing certain things. Like you could tell he was rusty, and he didn't know like some of the most modern ways of optimizing your play and stuff. So he was also playing Trevenant, and with Rough Seas, it was not a bad matchup at all. So I ended up winning that. So I'm 3-1. I go versus Golisopod. And I'm like, come on. I haven't hit a Darkrai. I haven't hit a Turtonator. I haven't hit a Night March. And I hit this Golisopod. Like, I expected Golisopod to be like the 5th biggest deck. So I was expecting to play 1. So I played it. Game 1, I go first. I attach to Toad and pass. He Bridgets, doesn't get an attachment. And retreats into a Coco promo so that he can retreat. Then it's my turn. I attach to Toad, Guzma, a Wimpod, and Quaking Punch. He evolves Sycamores, gets the attachment, and does 60. Because he had a choice band, but he couldn't play it under Quaking Punch. But I'm weak, so I take 60. I Quaking Punch again. So that's 60 on him, and then he gets the DCE and knocks me out. I come in with, I don't know why, but he GX'd there. So I come in with Curum with a choice band, and did I put this down? I don't know. And I use the second attack for 150, and so I hit 210 on him, and I'm like, yeah, boy. So I take him down on that, and then he brings up in first impressions, and then I live by 10. So then with my Curum, I hit his Golisopod for 30 and hit his bench Golisopod for 30, and I've set up 2 KOs for my Lapras. He takes out my Kyurem, and then I knock out his 2 Glissopods with Lapras, and I win game 1. And I'm like, holy cow, I just beat my auto loss. I can do this. I'm going to lose game 2 because he's going first, but I can do this. So he comes in, game 2, bodies me. I can't, like, I'm not drawing that well. Like, my Innisprize, I'm just trying to slow the game down and just see what I can do. Can't do anything. I get 6-0'd. I'm like, cool. So I'm like, this is my chance right here. And I dead draw. And I lose the round. It's like, cool. So then I go and I play round 6 against Trevenant. And the Trev player, he is like, I don't know, a younger guy, I think, and he, like, turn 1, I computer search for Lapras, and then, I guess we're grabbing that. I computer search for Lapras, and then I Sycamore, and then I Ultra Ball, and I Ultra Ball away an Energy and something else, and then before I pick up my deck, I Aqua Patch and put an Energy onto my bench, and I pick up my deck to search it, and he's like, oh wait, and he calls a judge, and he's like, I was like, oh, I Aqua Patched after Ultra Balling, because I did things out of order. I was not salty at all. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be done. I did it wrong. I'm fine with that. It's cool. And I got kind of mixed up while we were talking about it. I was like, wait, maybe I computer searched for Lapras. I mean, maybe I Ultra Balled for Lapras. But then thinking back, I was like, no, I definitely computer searched. But anyways, I honestly was not salty at all. I was like, that's my mistake. That's completely within his right to do. That's fine. So, didn't think anything of it. Then he wins game 1. Game 2, I win. I go first. I get to collect. I get my Keldeo Floatstone down, and like goes really, really well. Game 3 is a little bit tighter, but I'm ahead. And then I Hex, so I can play all my items. I do as much as I can with my items. Sycamore, don't Sycamore. I just have like a huge hand because I like collected last turn. I have all these. I get my Hex. Oh, I Hex. I via Seeker for Sycamore. I play all the items I can play. I'm ready to go for my next turn. I attack. He goes. He plays Lele. Picks up his deck. I'm like, no, dude, I Hexed. And then he goes to pick up his Lele because he's like, oh, I wouldn't have played that. I was like, nah, bro, you can't take that back. And like, I felt kind of bad, but my wife gets on to me about like not taking my advantages. Like, I always let other people take stuff back, and I never asked to do it myself. Like in round 1, I didn't ask to, I don't even know what this does. Okay. I didn't ask to take something back because it was my mistake. Like, I Lele'd under ability lock, actually. It was the same thing in round 1. But I didn't ask to take it back because it was my mistake. Like, it's my fault. So why would I do that? But I still felt a little bit bad doing it to him, except like because he did it to me at the beginning. I didn't really care as much. But anyways, so it got really quiet after that. So that was a little bit awkward, but I didn't feel too bad about it. And it's like there are 3 things that separate you and your opponent: skill, luck, and deck. And skill should separate you guys, and knowing board state is part of skill. So I don't know. And then round 7, I beat him. Round 7, I play versus Darkrai, and my opponent was like super nice, but also like super talkative, and did not play very quickly. So, So, let's see. Sorry. And like one time stopped to tell me a story, which I enjoyed, like talking somewhat, but she had a lot of ties, and I'd never tie because I play super fast, and yeah, so it was like I wanted to rush her, but I didn't want to be rude, and I don't know. But anyway, she wins game one, and I'm like, crap, I'm supposed to beat Darkrai. Game two, I go first, make sure I get out my Sudowoodo turn one. I do, and just have control over the game the whole time. And I scooped like 3 turns before I lost because I knew I was going to lose, but she never scooped. So I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. Then, whoa. Then, game 3, I start Sudowoodo, and I was like, yes, I have a chance. I mean, I have a chance even if I don't, but it just really increases my chances if I do start Sudowoodo. So, start Sudowoodo, and I get a Quaking Punch off early because she's not able to get a lot of, like, turn 2, I think. She's only going to be able to get like 3 energies on board because of Sudowoodo. So I just Quaking Punch and hold her down to 3 energies, or 4 maybe the next turn. But she battle compressors, and I didn't think about it. And she looks through her deck, grabs 3 cards, discards them, and then Dowsing Machines for one of them. I'm like, oh, you can't play Dowsing Machine because it was Toad. I'm like, oh wait, you can't play Compressor because of Toad. And so we call a judge over, and we both get a warning. So I get like a 3rd warning, and I'm like, oh no, this isn't good. I already have 2 warnings. Am I going to be in trouble or what? And they're like, oh no, don't worry about it. You're fine. This was, her mistake. You just need to keep up with board state. I'm like, okay. So they won't give us an time extension though, and it's like really close to time. And I end up winning on turn 3 of time. So it was scary. It was scary to say the least. But yeah. Then so that was game 3. I win. I go on to round 8. I play versus a guy who actually made top 8. He was playing Coco Garb, a spread deck, and he was super cool too. So I had a lot of really cool opponents. Game 1, he dead draws, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go ham, hope he dead draws again, and just stay ahead. And that's what happened. And so I just win. Game 2, he gets almost the exact same hand. I'm like, cool. Because he just attaches and passes. So I'm like, cool, and I go ham. And then he top decks Computer Search. I'm like, ugh. So I have all these items in the discard, and he just bodies me. Game 3, I play super conservatively, and I'm just like Quaking Punching to keep him slow with me, not using my items, attacking with Kyurem after that, make him take the odd prize, and then I've taken a couple prizes at this point. I think I'm up 3-1. I'm like, this is the time. I can go ham now, and I'll be fine. So I Colress. I Sycamore. I find the items I need, get my attachments, attack, knockout, cool. He revenge KOs. I'm like, no problem. Pull up Keldeo because there's Floatstone. Draw an Aqua Patch. I just need one more attachment. I Colress for 8 or 9. I don't remember. I think it was 9 actually. And I whiff the energy, and I'm like, oh. And I just have to give him a Shaman, and then he ends me, and I know he wins unless I get an N off of his end, because then I'll be able to end him to 1 because he usually going to odd number prizes. So then, but I don't pull an N off of my end of 4. But I'm able to take 2 prizes, and then I don't hit the N, and so it doesn't matter, and he just wins. But I shouldn't have played that Lapras. Oh well. Yeah. So I just lose that way, which was sad, but I mean, he dead drew like the first game, so round 9, I finally hit a Turtonator. So I only hit 2 of the 3 decks I was like really playing the deck to play against. But my first turn, I'm like, okay, cool. Turtonator. First turn, nothing. Draw for turn, computer search. I'm like, yeah. So I go off a little, not off, but I get sort of set up a little bit, and then he Kiawe's onto a Ho-Oh. Oh no, I dead drew turn one, and then he Kiawe's onto a Ho-Oh. Turn two, I top decked the computer search, and then yeah, and then do I put this down? I don't think I do. I think I just hex. Um, so he Kiawe's on the Ho-Oh. I get my computer search. I get something going, but I'm not able to attack. And then he uses Blacksmith on the Turtonator, so he gets 3 energy, he attaches and Blacksmiths, and then retreats Turtonator because he doesn't want to lose 2 prizes. But that takes his board state completely out because he knocks me out with Ho-Oh, and then I come up with a Lapras. I like get a Sycamore, get all my energies on the Lapras, get a Choice Band, knock out his Ho-Oh, and he has nothing. And so I just win first game. Game 2, completely dead draw. He beats me. I'm like, are you serious? I'm seriously going to lose to my auto win. Game 3, my hand is dope. And I just like draw perfectly, not perfectly, but really, really well. And he just scoops pretty quickly. And that was it. So I ended 6-3. The tournament was awesome. The standings were announced by 9:45. That is nuts. With an hour lunch break. It was crazy. Perfectly run tournament. So really, really pleased. Loved the location as well. I really hope they do a regional there again. I can't believe I'm saying this because it's a 6-hour drive, but I would probably go back if they did it again. It was awesome. So shout out to everybody who did that. Oh, and thank you all who came up to me. I got to meet at least 2 people from Reddit and some people from Facebook. Just to say like, oh, hey, Seagrove, how's it going? Or like, great to finally meet you. You guys were like very kind and really appreciated it. So thank you for that. And yeah. It was awesome, and yeah, pretty great regional. I met my goal of 6-3, which was exciting, but at the same time a little bit bittersweet because I was up there, like, I'm 5-2. I just need to win the next 2, and then I dead draw on my last game, which was sad. Or not dead draw. I whiff an energy off a chorus to 8, with like 3 or 4 energy left in deck out of 20. Some low 20s cards, so definitely could have hit the energy there, but I did reach my goal of 128, and I hope to do it again at some point. But yeah, thanks to everybody for watching this, and I'm just gonna finish this game and stop talking about regionals now. So yeah, this is it should be a good matchup, but I'm drawing like a mouse. I wouldn't play this. Well, maybe if I made the changes, like 1 floatstone and 1 N for a floatstone for Fury Belt and N for Super Rod, then I think the deck would actually be pretty good. And I may have even made day 2 with those changes because I definitely lost against Glisopod while dead drawing, but that doesn't mean I would have. I don't know why he didn't knock me out with Volcanion, but I am down with that. What do I do here? I guess I pull this up and hit it. I don't know why he didn't hit me with Volcanion. I don't know. So we'll rush in so that when I Guzma, I have my Toad back up. Yeah, I think we'll do this. Hit for 120 with Quaking Punch. Oh, I should have pulled this up and field blowered it. Oh well. So the deck has a lot of options. Toad is my out against Gallisopod, which is not much of an out, and against Trubbish, which is not much of an out. But Curum helps in both of those a lot as well. Curum and Toad are also my answers to Night March, and they're actually really good answers to Night March with the Karen. So, that's not good. If he can steam up twice, I'm in trouble. Actually, I hope he steams up twice so I can keep up the lock. He's just steamed up and then used that. Wait, you can't... maybe you can do that. I don't know if you can use Starmie for no energy. But it's an ability, not a card, so you might be able to. I mean, not a item. I think we're just going to do this here for sure. There we go. Now we're talking. Cool. So we can grenade hammer. Is there a good way to do this? There's really not. Oh wait, he has to retreat. I should have blowered last turn. Oh, okay, nice. Nice play. 60. Okay, I'll come up with Toad. And I'll Quaking Punch and then knock him out next turn. Ooh. Let's do this. We'll attach here. Aqua Patch here. Rush in. We're going to take out this one that has full health with a Grenade Hammer. I should put one of those on Keldeo, but it shouldn't really matter. Or even on Curum. Yeah, I should put on Curum. But we got some draw cards. This is what I'm talking about. Like early game, if you don't, you might not hit anything, but once you do, you're good. Like once you get that first Ultra Ball or that first Sycamore or N, you're usually fine. N not as often, but so maybe after that fourth, maybe I should do 4 Sycamore and 1 N. Actually, that's probably what I should do. Now that I just said that, it made me realize. Why is he playing Rainbow? Is he trying to attack with this? It's weird. Excuse me. So, put this active. If I play Sudowoodo, then let's go. Let's do that. We'll Aqua Patch onto Lapras. Play. Do I really want to do this? I don't think I do. Play this. It's okay. He's gonna get rid of that, but I one-shot everything anyways. Except for this. Blower this. Chorus. It doesn't matter. I know. That was a mistake. Oh. I have to attack this turn with a choice band. Okay, so... Oh, didn't get it. That's okay. We'll do that. And whenever he powers up, I'll pull it up and knock it out. And then that'll, I mean, should be good after that. That doesn't matter. Just gonna Guzma that. I think he thought he won. I don't know. I probably should be attacking with Keldeo at this point in the game, actually, not Lapras, but oh well. We'll just grab Guzma. And Guzma, I don't want to Ultra Ball because I don't want to get rid of anything really. I don't want to computer search, so I still have those outs. Like, I want to get rid of Karen, but at the same time, you know, I don't want to lose anything else. That was actually perfect because I got to go down to 2 prizes. Yeah, so I should have game here. Anything he brings up, I'll knock out, but these will only give me 1 prize, so I'll just have to Guzma up one of these, which should be quite simple. It is. It's a bit. It feels a bit. It's funny. It's fun. People are like, "Oh," in the chat, "Good game, well played. Whoo, that was close." Like almost tauntingly, it feels like. And then you get to win. Feels good, man. I still might not win, but I think I got this. Depends on what I top deck, I suppose. Yep, I win. Cool. This he's got like a. I mean, if he has, it doesn't matter. I should win. Oh, yep, that's fine. Cool. Just in case. Yep, we win. Yay. All right. So for those of you who stayed, thanks for watching, and see you next time.